Initially, I thought I'm writing a book maybe for my fans, mainly men. The editor told me that he saw feminism was growing in Japan. Okay, so maybe I get to talk about the truth. Initially, I thought about having a manager because if they think of you as like a young woman, you might get some attitude that you don't deserve on Twitch. Like, there's no way these many people are paying attention to me at the same time. That's why I go to events to actually make sure they do exist.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in. If you're enjoying the show, subscribing is the best way to support us. It helps us grow and bring you new stories from life in Japan. All right, let's jump in. Welcome to Unpacking Japan. I'm Toby, and today I have the pleasure to welcome Shibuya Kaho. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
You're a content creator, you have been a former journalist, you are working as a cosplayer and at cosplay exhibitions and many more projects. So we have so many topics to talk about today. And like with all our guests, I usually like to ask like what brought them to Japan. But the question here doesn't really work.
My mother's womb, I guess. I was born in Chiyoda Ward in Tokyo. My parents, you find out, but they're more kind of snobbish, it's not really the first word that should come out of my mouth when you describe your parents, but kind of snobbish but in posh type, and like they were proud of the fact that Chiyoda word is known to be kind of rich area. They often refer to that place, our first location, as Ichibancho. That's like very specific because that's very close to Emperor's Palace.
I see.
So that's like Emperor's neighborhood. So I think they were very proud of that. Well, we didn't stay at that location. We moved to different locations since my brother and I have a bigger brother, went to private school. It didn't really matter going anywhere in Tokyo.
So I grew up in a small village in the south of France. What's it like growing up like close to the Emperor's Palace in downtown Tokyo?
I was little, so there were so many people running around, like practice for marathon.
Yeah. Running around the palace is probably like a convenient route in Tokyo.
Apparently they have the exact same length as the full marathon, was half. But there are a lot of runners around there because of that. And they do have like a running competition around there too.
Do you run yourself?
No.
So for you growing up small, the first impression was like, many runners, many people moving, very busy.
But I don't remember much from my childhood. I heard that if you retain too many memories, then you cannot remember new things.
Oh, really? So you kind of have to filter out the old things and make space for new ones. I think so. You just have to forget. So when do your memories really start? When do your first important memories, maybe at school, kind of, that you still think back about and like this was maybe a first turning point?
I remember I was playing with mud and it looked like chocolate and I thought about eating. I didn't, but it looked very appetizing. I always love playing by myself. I like me time a lot. I like some artistic time, drawing too, just reading too. It's not like I hated people, but I really appreciate my me time. Still do.
And when you're growing up in downtown Tokyo, I imagine as well, like this me time by yourself in your room is kind of the safest space. Like going out is a bit difficult when you're like in the business district.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even when you're walking and on a train, but as long as I'm by myself, like I don't have to engage in a conversation. I just can do whatever, even on commute and just daydreaming. I really like that time. Like I hated going to school or coming back to school with my friend, with my classmate. I just needed to, I don't have to compose my thought, but I had to have my solitude.
Yeah, just be in your own world a little bit.
Yeah, that was so special.
You mentioned you went to private school. Is this relatively common in Japan or quite unique?
I mean, you can either go to public school or private school, right? Some people, I'm sure you might have guests who went to international school, like English school. So mine was girls only.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I went to the same school for kindergarten to high school. And kindergarten, they had few boys, like a very small ratio. And it was Protestant school.
Okay.
So Christian, but it's not Catholic, so not as strict as that. So yeah, I think that's something unique. It was in the middle of like Roppongi. So that was very odd when I started going to school early in the morning. You see some like a drunk adults
The
just walking
leftovers
around.
from the night
Yeah.
before. Yeah.
Actually, one adult, I don't know how old he was when I was probably in middle school. A guy who looked like he was in maybe 20s, 30s, screamed at me like, "You should study so hard."
Like
Like,
in a good way, like encouraging, or more like a
think he
scolding?
got some anecdotal evidence that like,
Ah.
unless you study hard enough, that you won't have good business life. Or
What was it
well,
like to be in an all-girls school all the way from like kindergarten to high school, where you
yeah.
kind of are in this a little bit shielded away, I imagine, from the rest of Tokyo, kind of always in the same environment?
I think so. You don't have to be afraid of or care too much about male gaze.
Mhm.
Like when you actually start to develop and you start like, putting on makeup, or you start caring about your looks more, then yeah, again, like I don't know what it's like. But I started to develop, especially my chest, definitely bigger than other Asian girls. So that could have been a factor. Like I could have had like a really hard time.
Mhm.
But just surrounded by girls, like a lot of things felt free and no gender roles. I mean, we did have drama club and we did some girls. It's kind of like a takarazuka
I see.
acting.
Yeah.
You do like a male roles too. So that was kind of fun.
When I introduced you, I said like the many things
Mhm.
that you are doing today or have done so far in your career. When you were in high school and so, did you already have an idea of what you wanted to do professionally?
No, like even getting to college, like I don't know which field I should.
Mhm.
And you cannot really change your major, like in some countries in the United States, for example.
Yeah,
So
if you pick one, you have to stick to it and
Yeah.
kind of go all the way through.
you have to choose bunke or dike. So
Mhm.
basically, bunke is more language or sociology, and dike is more mathematics or
Mhm.
physics or something medicine. So yeah, I was like, it's not like I was bad at math, but at the same time, it's not like I wanted to continue doing that. So, and
So
I
you
like
went-
reading, so bunke probably I just
Made
naturally
sense.
thought of that. We often say that if you're a bunke, then it's just too broad, it's too generalized. So what are you going to do? Like, there's no specialty.
It's interesting because in France it's kind of the same.
Oh.
We have in high school already to kind of choose if you want to do more like a scientific path or more economy
Yeah.
path or more like literature. And there's always this image that people that go more like the literature, what are you going to do after? Are you going to find work?
I know exactly. I've been told the same. I understand like what kind of job you're going to get from literature. I understand that. But at the same time, it sounds fun and you're going to take classes like for 4 years. So,
But you did get a job after, actually. You started working for the Yomiuri Shimbun, I believe, right?
Yomiuri Shimbun was actually internship.
Okay.
So that was still when I was in college. And so I got into media because I was too curious about everything and I couldn't decide like, which field I wanted to focus on. But if I become a journalist, maybe I'll have a chance to interact with people from all different fields. So that was the idea. And well, the paper media was already kind of moribund at the time. However, I went to this job seminar, like when you're like third grade, fourth grade.
Shushoku Katsudo.
Shushoku Katsudo. When you start doing that, you have to go to those seminars in like recruit suits.
Yeah, and just hand out your resume to each company and kind of introduce yourself.
And I was like, okay, where should I wasn't sure like, which table I should go. Then there was Asahi Shimbun seminar, another major newspaper company besides Yomiuri Shimbun. They are not, they've been told, everyone keeps saying like they are more like on the right side, like more
a little bit more conservative.
Yeah, conservative. But Asahi Shimbun, the PR person, had a speech saying like we make a new product every day because it's newspaper, and it sounded kind of cool. So okay, that makes sense. Maybe I'm interested in newspaper, old media, but classic and traditional. Like maybe I can train myself there. Also, when you're just starting out, it's not really about who you are because you don't have any experience, but it's more about your company name so that you can get credited and people are going to trust you. People are going to feel like maybe I can listen to you. So it's more about gaining credibility, I guess.
So having those big names, either Asahi Shimbun or Yomiuri Shimbun, kind of helps with the resume.
But I went to internship at Yomiuri And some other student, they were like, I want to change the world. Like, I want to change the society with my power of journalism.
Just writing an article that will have an impact.
I was like, okay, that's very respectful, but that sounded too majime in a way. It was, I wanted more of something fun and I wanted to write something maybe comedic. And it's not just, I never felt like I want to change the world. That would almost feel kind of conceited. That's like, you have the power, that's great, but it's something you earn. And I don't know, I like to more like see the change of the world, see the change of society. I want to experience life and life outside of my own life too. So I decided to just get into a company that's more casual, and hence the last destination for me as a media trainee was Tokyo Sports. And the name Tokyo Sports sounds very legit, right? In English.
Yeah.
They actually got a really good spot, I heard, at not Tokyo, but Olympics. Because somehow Olympic Committee probably assigned where each media sits. And then when you hear the word Yomiuri Shimbun, Asahi Shimbun, it doesn't make sense because it's all Japanese. You don't know how big they are.
Yeah,
it's like you hear New York Times and, okay, New York is big city. And like, of course, everyone knows New York Times now.
So it's not like the Tokyo Times or the Osaka Times.
Yeah.
Yomiuri, what?
Right? Yomiuri, Asahi, where is that? Like, unless you know or you live in Japan, you don't know how big they are. So they got assigned a really bad seed. And somehow Tokyo Sports, because it's Tokyo and sports, they got assigned a good seed at Olympics.
So you got to cover sports. Did you have like a prior interest? You mentioned you were not particularly a runner. Were you interested in, because you ended up at the baseball desk, I think, right?
I never watched baseball before then.
So how do you approach such a job?
I know,
when
that was
you're
hard.
like, oh, you have to write about this. First, you need to learn all the rules, I imagine.
I know, exactly. I learned how to write a scorebook too. And I felt bad, honestly, because this is the job that very coveted job. Someone who died for that. It's like one of the most popular sports in Japan. And it has been so for such a long time. And actually, I interviewed Shohei Ohtani, who was already a star at the time in Japan. He was just graduating high school, and he initially wanted to just go straight to Major League, like America. He wanted to try out. And then all other Japanese, I guess, managers at the time, they tried to stop and, okay, we should train, like you should just have more experience in Japan first and then move to the United States. Yeah, but I don't know, I just felt bad for giving such a good role, like good opportunity, because I was not interested in baseball, not even as a hobby, or just felt like I shouldn't be the one. Like I felt like I was just doing somebody's job.
I imagine as well, a lot of the people that are in that world, probably very male dominated, and a lot of people that are like maybe hardcore fans of baseball.
Yes.
And then there's you, and you kind of struggle. You did that for 2 years, right?
Almost, yeah. I think maybe it was more 1 year, because you have to learn other jobs at the company, newspaper company, how the newspaper is made. You get involved in the editing, check the spelling.
Also, like
that.
for your first year, you go from station to station to learn everything.
But,
interesting.
Just for a short time. Right.
Did you overall? Did you still enjoy that experience working as a journalist, to kind of see the inner workings of such a big paper and kind of how do these articles actually come out every morning?
Definitely. If I could actually use my strengths more, but baseball is somewhere that I cannot. I don't have any knowledge. First of all, I don't have any interest. Second of all, it's like the only thing they like was, I could speak English, but that's pretty much it. There are no stars from overseas at the time much.
Do you get to choose or request, or I would like to focus on this sport or this, or is it just like, no, now you do baseball?
But, it's Japan. You can say, but it's not like they're going to listen to you. You don't have to.
So eventually for you, that meant like moving on a little bit and kind of leaving the newspaper and trying something new.
Definitely. I was thinking about leaving a newspaper or leaving any company I was going to join eventually, because I wanted to be on my own. I wanted to be known as writer, author. It's not really about the topic you write about is more about, well, you get to experience different things. I wanted the title like former Tokyo Sports newspaper journalist or like reporter, freelancer, because being a woman in like Tokyo Sports or any sports newspaper company, you kind of get stand out. And well, you also get not criticism, but because like you said, it's very male dominated world, so they can just hate you for being a woman, or they think you're getting lucky because you're a woman.
Was it even, you mentioned earlier when I asked you about kind of having your scholarship in an all-girls school, that you feel very protected and that you don't have to deal with the male gaze, and that after you finish this, you're suddenly projected into this very male domain. Is that even more of a challenge because you haven't necessarily dealt with some of these reactions or sexism that they are kind of like projecting onto you?
That was definitely hard, that you are being judged just based on your sex that you cannot change. And you're not like a male jersey. They just feel, well, peanut butter and jelly just because you're a girl, and they think like it's like cheating. You're cheating because you're a woman. And when you dress nicely, like I like clothing, and I was just wearing like a nice trench coat. It was not even like I never wore like Chanel or anything. I think it was like maybe Burberry at most. But then I get comment from my male senpais, like, oh, like you're dressed nicely to, I don't know, like entice baseball players, or they just give me like those snide comments.
Like directly, like walking past you and like, oh, you're trying.
Yeah, wow. What are you here for? Like you're trying to like get married to a baseball player? Like I don't even know any of them.
How do you deal with that in the moment? Do you kind of just have to be quiet and focus on your job, or do you take that and transform it into some energy to like, no, I'm going to show them that I can do better?
I just have to focus on work. So like, if I was doing work so well and still get comments like that, but I was like, okay, I don't care. And most of the male senpai who give me comments like that, they look really bad. Like literally, it's like they have holes in their jacket kind of things. Okay, so okay, right, yeah, I don't want to look like you. I didn't say that, just in my head. Okay, compared to looking like that, I would rather look nice, and they might think like I'm dressing nice for somebody, but I'm just dressing nice for myself.
And so you took yourself out of that world and kind of continued your own path. You wanted to be an author. Did you know or think about what you wanted to write about at the time?
No, just experience something interesting, and I get to write about it with my own words.
So eventually, you entered the AV industry a few years later. Yeah. You had a career there for, I think, around 4 years. And you did...
less than 4 years. But
and then you did write a book about it. So
yes.
You did an experience and you turned that experience into your first published book.
Exactly. It's like the topic everyone wants to read about. It's like, okay, it works.
Many girls and men as well go into that industry. Very few write books about it. What was the motivation for you to write that book in particular?
And also, I got my book translated into another language and maybe one more language in the future, I've been told. Yeah, a Vietnamese publisher approached me.
Interesting.
It hasn't... Well, I don't know how far they're into translating. So, but yeah, if it's going to be the second language, that would be fantastic.
That's awesome. Why writing that book? What was important for you when did you decide I need to write about that experience?
When I was joining the industry, of course, I was going to write about it.
From the beginning, that was kind of interesting. The way you titled the book in Japanese is a little bit different than the English title that it got.
Definitely.
I think the literal translation from the Japanese version is what girls should know before entering the AV industry. It sounds a little bit like you had this experience. There are good things and bad things that you've experienced. But before any girl thinks about joining, they need to know this because you want to prevent them entering maybe some difficult situations. Exactly. What are those important messages that you kind of wanted to transmit?
So for the Japanese book, there are some books published by or written, or I don't know if they actually write, or maybe the thing about some books by talent in Japan, sometimes they talk and then they're recording it, and there is journalist, a writer who is like writing for them. So sometimes they talk and then they're recording it, and then there is journalist, a writer who is like writing for them. So So I don't know how much they
Go for as many details as you want. I'm curious about the process.
So yeah, I've been praised for just actually writing by myself. That's kind of weird. Like, oh wow, you actually write the book, right?
So not using a ghostwriter that you
Yeah.
kind of tell the story to and they write for you.
Yeah, actually, my father told me that he's a physician, he's a doctor, but he's written so many books, but he didn't write it because I never seen him write. But he said like somebody was recording it and listening to him, and then hence he wrote a book.
I see. But you actually sat at your computer or even pen and paper and you wrote the entire book.
So somehow it's an accomplishment.
How long did it take you?
It took a while. I'm not a fast writer. I am working on my second book. That's not about industry. But I like taking time and just making sure every word I mean it. It took almost a year, I think, right after I started writing a little bit before the retirement. It was just coincident. I got approached by publisher and the editor, and I thought I have to get it into a book as soon as possible because the information is still fresh. My memories are still fresh too. And yeah, I appreciate it. It's been still read, even in another language. And I think the professor or teachers at university also wrote about it on a school paper or something.
So it's kind of becoming a reference as well for an understanding of the industry.
That's amazing.
You mentioned that you were approached by the editor and the publisher. Is this how it normally works in Japan? Or
yes. When you try to write a proposal and submit, most of the time they reject you or, papers don't sell these days. The books definitely not. Some people might try to self-publish it and just put it on your coffee table and feel satisfied. And that could be good too.
But that's not what you wanted. You wanted the book to be out there.
No.
Yeah.
And you mentioned like the Japanese book is for girls. That was editor's idea. Initially, I thought I'm writing a book maybe for my fans or people who are interested in the industry that's mainly men. So I thought I should talk about something more happy and like all the good things and maybe like less bad things or talk about it in a joking way so that it still wouldn't sound too serious or depressing. But as soon as the editor told me that, okay, let's write a book for women because he saw feminism was growing in Japan. Okay, so maybe I get to talk about the truth. Like it can be more like expedited. So yeah, that was an interesting turn. So actually, initially I was writing more for male fans. So the tone is actually very different from this chapter to another.
Oh, so throughout the book, the direction changed a little bit and how you wrote.
Yeah. And I think they also changed the order. So I can't really tell. But when I'm reading, I can tell, okay, this part I wrote more for a man. Hence it's more even like heart emojis or...
Because there's so few people that are able to write with insider knowledge. Do you feel like, or did you have an opportunity to exchange with other colleagues that you had during your career? Were they curious about why you're writing or what you're writing about?
Definitely a lot of people in the industry read that. And I'm pretty sure like some were probably furious or not hard, but maybe offended or you shouldn't talk about this because it's going to break both fantasies too. But that was not the point, right? Just preserving the fantasy is your job, right? I already retired, so I don't have to. I can exemplify. And yeah, I was talking to. I didn't go into interview. Like, can I interview you? I'm writing a book. Not something like that. Just a lot of information I took from just regular conversation behind the scenes, or even from events. So I don't really name names unless I got the info from the talk show because we are both there. So
and it's public.
Yeah. It's public information. Otherwise, I don't really name names.
You mentioned it might make some people angry, but eventually you went all the way. You wanted to write your book, you did, and then it was even translated. Was this planned from the start, or did kind of someone come up with the idea?
Of course, it was nice if it could get translated, but I also knew that's out of your control. When I got a lot of people telling me like, "Oh, I wish I could read this book in English," So I'm glad it happened. Uh, I saw maybe they could write more that some of the part I took out because I was afraid that a lot of people in the industry was going to read, and they did. So I was kind of happy that I didn't write it. Some of the shocking stuff, I was not trying to hurt anybody. So some of the story I felt like, oh, maybe I shouldn't mention. Because so one big story I took out was director who actually filmed my debut movie. He ran away completely. Like not from me, but
like just disappeared.
Disappeared. Yeah, he just disappeared one day. But he was a veteran already. He disappeared one day, and he actually had a lot of pets somehow.
Okay.
I never been to his place, but he explained to me. He was a guy who talked a lot during breaks. He even had a really weird chatting time after each shoot. It was called, well, his name and time.
Okay.
And like it's like Kaho time. Right? And somehow he tried to have like a one-on-one conversation with the actress at the end of the shoot. And maybe some spiritual talk, whatever. It just felt very phony to me. I think as a rumor, he was dating a lot of actresses. That's kind of taboo.
Behind the
but maybe
scenes.
he was trying to assess like who could be easily. Like this girl, I can find her like emotionally manipulative. But I think he was trying to find somebody he could emotionally manipulate. That's why he was trying to have like a talk, like heart-to-heart kind of conversation. And he was telling me how to have a long career in the industry when he just disappeared. But that's kind of funny.
Did he reappear or is he still like gone?
Honestly, I think he might have gotten killed. I don't know. It's just a guess. But he disappeared, never reappeared. Apparently, he had a lot of debt. He was in debt, and he didn't pay a lot of people. He had his own company, but he took all the money or he couldn't pay. There was also some actress who got emotionally hurt by him. I don't know how much is it true, but I saw that on social media. Some girl was tweeting that was like, I think former or actress at the time. Oh, I was gonna get married or have a life with him, and I went to the new property that we were gonna sign, right? Some kind of apartment.
That's a big step.
Yeah, it was just empty, and he left me, something like that.
So a story like this, you were like, as a writer, maybe I should not put that in the book because
the
it might.
The thing is that part is still, well, just drama. But so right after he disappeared, a lot of videos, like unedited footage that he took as a director, like nothing edited at all, just like a raw content. And you have to put mosaic in porn in Japan. So nothing has been edited. That's like a totally illegal content. Just got exposed, like leaked on the internet.
Suddenly.
Yeah, suddenly. It's just it's a wonder. It's such a conundrum, but we all assume like maybe he did it for money. And like when you sell such content, those are also retired actresses. They were gone from the industry and they were just trying to have a new image or just move on in their lives. And they're famous ones and from famous agencies. And, some agencies are connected to Yakuza or scary people. That was my guess. Like maybe he got finished after doing that.
Some shady things happening and some affecting you as well with those videos being leaked. You actually took action against it, right?
Yeah. Because I always thought, well, if somebody exposed that and that's like illegal content, that's not you agreed on. And if you agreed to be on it and like took money, that's crime. And some actresses got arrested for that. But not just actresses, like all the actors or staff members. But then somebody doing that and somebody is, making money for it, whatever, it feels malicious. So I always wondered, why don't they sue? Like somebody should make a lawsuit about it.
And you were the one. You were like,
so
why
like,
not me? This
yeah,
time?
so okay, so it happened to me. Let's do it.
So about a year ago, I think you did an interview at the foreign
FCCJ,
Foreign Correspondents Club of Japan.
Exactly.
And you talked about the lawsuit, but at the time it wasn't finished. And you were telling me that this has now kind of concluded. But one thing that was interesting during that interview is, as you just said, nobody ever really sued the industry, and you were the first one. And you were explaining that in a Japanese law system, your case would set a precedent. So it wasn't about the money, it wasn't about like what, but it was about like, okay, there needs to be a new rule that helps to protect the actresses even after they retire. So how did this case end, and how did it become a precedent?
So we ended. Well, the legal term in Japanese is like wakai, so like agreement. And I was offered to get paid little, just a minuscule amount, just peanuts. Like that wouldn't even cover my legal fees. And then instead of paying me, it was not a compensation. It was like just for two of the side to get agree on. They were willing to pay me a little bit. But because we are paying, we don't want to talk about it. We don't never talk about the topic. So, well, the reason why I'm doing is to talk about it. So like, I don't need that money. So forget that money. How much was it? Like maybe 40만? Something like it's less than $500,000. Yeah.
So like what, $2,500 or something?
I think so. I mean, at that time, I think USD was not that strong.
But something like that. Yeah. Wow.
And I paid much more for the legal action. So it doesn't really cover anything.
So for you, it was important to make a statement to kind of conclude the story. And now the legal system has a precedent and a case that kind of has been evaluated.
My case is unique because you don't know who did it, but it is still, is the filming company still responsible or not? Because they hired this director, they hired a cameraman, they hired a crew. So it's kind of their responsibility to protect that.
Yeah.
So yeah, if we could figure out who did it, that would be quite different. But at the same time, I felt like I joined like a Zoom call too. That was still like during COVID. So I could talk to the judge too, not in person, but virtually. It felt like he said he cannot really make the filming company that responsible because it hasn't been proven that they are the one who leaked it. However, he didn't say it, but it's not going to look good if I lost. If I lose, that's not going to look morally good. So they kind of have to like agree on settlement. They have to like settle.
Do you feel like this was an okay conclusion to the case? Was this kind of like a small victory for you? Or?
I mean, yes, I think it's still fine. The worst case is like I lose. So that's going to be bad for the future, like not just with me. So that's good. I felt kind of relieved that they didn't want me to lose.
So the conclusion of this law case, the publication of your book about the industry, in a way is kind of like closing the chapter for you, all right?
Yes.
And kind of stepping away from that industry and experience you had in your life. And after that, you kind of started exploring a lot of new things. One of them was cosplaying. You're now very big in the cosplay scene.
Oh.
How did you get started into that?
I think it's because on social media, you try to post something every day. As a talent, especially from the industry, you're supposed to like take your selfies. It's more about your photos than like what you write. But then you always look the same. You do the same makeup, safe makeup. Unless you have a photo shoot, like you don't look that different. So I enjoy that looking different each time, like in photos. I like having like a different kind of photos. So when I started doing cosplay because of work, initially I just got assigned, oh, can you wear this costume? And like, oh, it looks nice. And you get professional help too. I love looking so different. Also, I have been interested in, of course, manga and anime as, just quintessential Japanese, I guess. And it can be a great conversational starter. You get to like embrace what you like, and then you get to look different. It's just very refreshing.
Did you have any particular animes that you were like interested in making a cosplay of at the beginning, or was it just anything that is possible and available?
Anything. I don't want to be known as, let's say, oh, you're doing supersonical cosplay, so you're a supersonical cosplayer. Like if you're official cosplayer at the company, like with IP, that's something. But you don't want to just not associate with a character that you don't own IP for. So I like trying different ones. And I also found it very therapeutic that you get to use this unique body shape. And well, my face is plain, like, and there's no characteristics. But because of that, I get to rely on makeup and I can look totally different. Right? I don't have a lot of strong features on my face. That's why like, makeup can make so many differences. So it's actually great for cosplay. And I'm kind of short and stack, but a lot of anime characters are.
So you kind of had the perfect body type for cosplay.
Yeah. For a lot of naturally well-endowed women, they're kind of embarrassed. Right? We get to have a kind of hunchback style to hide it so that they won't talk about it. A lot of girls get into even like a grabia, for example, so that they can appreciate and embrace their body. They don't have to hide it all the time. Right? Even when I was a journalist or even when I was a college student, I got a nickname like Oppai-chan, or like, that was like really like embarrassing. But they think it's just your personality. It's not personality. It's just body trait. Like a fat kid get called like niku, meat. Something like that. They think it's just physical oddity. And the physical anomaly is easy to focus on. And you can actually use it as your personality. But if you're nobody, you're not a talent or anything, you're not a social media content creator, then you just feel embarrassed about your constant gaze that people referring to your body parts, especially like sexual parts. So
in that sense, kind of starting the cosplay and taking advantage and embracing who you were was kind of like freeing.
I like being me because I get to do this character and I feel like I'm depicting this character well.
You mentioned that you kind of started for fun to post on social media as part of your previous work to kind of show diversity of selves as opposed to just have the same photo every day. At what point did it become a potential new kind of career direction as well through content creation, but also... And I think you now are a judge on cosplay competitions too. And
well, I still enjoy it for fun, honestly. You get asked by companies sometime and they commission cosplay or they make costumes on their own, but then you don't get to say any opinions. But if you are commissioning cosplay on your own, and I can say, can you use this fabric or can you make this and that? Sometime when I'm asked to do cosplay and the company present me the cosplay, like they prepare the cosplay, and I don't like the quality that happens. So I really like it to do everything for fun most of the time, so that I get to have some kind of control. Being a judge, I was honored, but I feel humbled. They're amazing. I like to commission cosplay. I like to find people who specialize each thing. Like order them and pay for their time. I have ideas, but I don't have skills.
To make the cosplay yourself. How does it work as a judge on a cosplay competition? Now, we've talked to a couple of cosplayers on the podcast as well, and so much work goes into each and every one of those, and they look awesome, and they have like so many different kinds. So when you're there and you have to judge and tell you're the winner, you are not.
I know, what am I to just assess and like put number on their effort? It's just, I like talking to them and like asking them questions like, oh, what's the part you're most proud of? Or like, tell me about the cosplay story. Like I like hearing their stories, but to judge them, I feel like, I feel like I shouldn't be the one.
Is there a system in place, like a point system, like 5 points for the overall design, 5 points for the attitude, or?
Yeah, definitely. It depends on the competition, honestly. Some competition, they just throw judges into a room, and go ahead and assess them. Like they don't do anything. Some competition have like a spreadsheet, and like this is the quality we're going to look into. And there are different cosplay. It's not always just fabric. Sometimes they have form or like 3D printer. And we look into wigs too, like if they actually handmade a wig and makeup too, and of course attitude performance. So everyone got different strengths. To be actually in close proximity with those cosplayers and take a look. You can actually touch the fabric too, and then it's amazing. Like you only get to see them on stage most of the time, like from afar. You don't get to pay attention to those details. So I feel very privileged. Nowadays, I felt not bad, but I just feel too humble. Like, I enjoy cosplay, but I'm doing more hosting now for those cosplay contests.
So not the judge, but just kind of getting people in the right mood. What are some of your favorite cosplay events? Because you travel a lot internationally too, right? You don't just do events in Japan.
Actually, the Gamescom in Germany, that was like a biggest stage.
Wow.
Fantastic. Amazing cosplays too. The stage was a little bit too big, and I could tell some contestant got intimidated, like, I didn't know like the stage was this big, and they didn't get to use the stage that broadly. They got so many different cameras too. Right now, I'm involved with EVO. EVO is it's short for evolution, and it's actually pronounced Evo in Japanese, so a little bit convoluted. It's a fighting game competition, biggest fighting game competition.
So like Street Fighter.
Street Fighter 6 is like by far the most popular one. So it's fighting game theme for a cosplay contest or just cosplay in general. Some people do game Smash Brothers is not in the tournament anymore, but you can do Pokemon cosplay. The great thing about FGC fighting game community is everyone knows which character you're doing. That's so rare these days because anime, I'm a huge anime fan, so I'm so glad that anime has been this normalized and popular and ubiquitous in the world. However, even when you're doing like One Piece cosplay, unless you're doing Luffy, there's always someone asking, what's the cosplay you're doing?
I see.
Yeah.
There's too many characters.
Too many shows. It's kind of hard to follow. Like initially, it was a way to share conversation. Like, you like this character too. You like this show too. But just too many shows out there.
But in EVO, everyone kind of knows.
Like, wow, like I main this character, or I love this character, I use this character. Or everyone knows this show, this character, this equipment, like even different skins that you can get from like each DLC.
What do you do exactly with EVO?
So I'm hosting cosplay contests in Japan and also Vegas this year. Both event. So I'm doing this bilingually. Also, I actually brought a new idea to EVO. I like the museum part. They had fighting game stick, the fighting game stick controller.
Yeah.
Museum and art museum for each show. And I love the museum part because I don't really compete. I'm not that good at fighting games. And I spend way too many times doing RPG and other genre. So I can't train enough. But the thing is, now it's becoming more like an event, not just tournament. We need more space for people who might be there just for their friends or family, like rooting for their friends or family, but not really competing. To just kill some time or just enjoy the event and walk around. The museum has been really great part, and I love staying there at the EVO in Vegas. That was in summer last year. So I asked them, can we expand the museum part? Like maybe some figurine statues that would be perfect for museum. And it's becoming like a first ever collectible exhibit at EVO.
Wow. And so that is all on your initiative.
Yes, I actually made proposals in Japanese and like approached to Kotobukiya and Amiyami. They are like retailers and they make figurines in Japan. And I asked them, make sure like I get credited. It's my idea and like I'm making this happen. And then they assigned me as manager. It sounds more responsible, so I'm a little bit nervous about that.
So when is this going to happen?
In Japan, that's like first weekend of May, Golden Week, May 1st, 2nd, 3rd. That's EVO Japan. And EVO Vegas is the end of June.
So what did it actually take for you to make that from an idea to reality? Because these are big, I imagine, relatively traditional companies too, a lot of stakeholders. The idea is, okay, expand the museum exhibit and add figures. But to get that signed and actually established, you mentioned you had to make proposals. Like what kind of loops did you have to go through to make that reality?
Yeah, I couldn't think of like making that happen like back in, let's say, like a JV years, because like you work with agency and you're just hired by agency and they tell you to do this work and that. But now I have become freelance, and I have been coordinating videos or appearing on videos, some YouTubers. And during that process, sometimes I get asked to make a proposal, a 企画書 in Japanese, because to just do a pitch with any Japanese company, they want to take a look at 企画書, and it just looks more legit that you do that, not just like throwing an email like, hey, like, can we shoot on that day and whatever. They don't like the style. They like a more structured plan. And so I started kind of getting used to that kind of style, having proposals using, well, not PDF, PPF for that. I use PowerPoint, so I forgot the time.
Like Google Slides.
Yeah,
presentations.
I actually like making slides. Now, I hated making Excels, but I do like creative work. So I do enjoy like making proposals actually. And then by doing so, and you're being the one connecting, approaching each companies and approaching like each cafe or another YouTuber, then you get to have more and more contact. So that gradually, like, oh, maybe I can make this happen, right? It didn't happen, of course, over a day. And because I have been a freelance and I'm taking control, actually, I have hired managers before and like let them call themselves managers, even though they just reply back to emails, right? To the one like I approved.
Yeah,
it's
Shibuya
not
Kaho content manager, but actually just kind of sending a few emails right and left. And
I hated it because they try to take credit for things they didn't do, or your clients would assume that, oh, you're getting all these like appearances that say, oh, you appeared on this like famous podcast. Maybe your manager got you the job. They just assume. And I saw my former manager just didn't deny like right in front of me. And I was like, motherfucker. Like, I got the job. Like I got approached by them and I just let you handle. Well, that one didn't even handle emails because I just did everything. But because I needed somebody to help when I appear at a booth at some anime events or just even as a bodyguard, it was just easy to let them call themselves manager. And then suddenly realize they're taking all the credit for my accomplishment. That really got me infuriated. For sure.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
You said that you couldn't imagine yourself doing this and kind of approaching these big companies with a kikakusho during your JV years. But now as a freelancer, you are able to.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to exchange contact with them as a talent in Japan.
So when you were still in the industry, you just perform, but you cannot really contact them. Interesting.
I think almost in talent agencies, not just JV.
So now you suddenly reclaim yourself in a way, and you can. But it's also intimidating, I imagine, when you start you on your own. You have to contact those.
That's why I initially thought about having a manager, because you can get underestimated or, I'm not that young, but if they think of you as like a young woman, then you might get some attitude that you don't deserve somehow. So it's a sad situation, but you cannot really change that. So I thought if you have a big, scary looking guy as a manager, that might help. But actually, like talking, I don't want to have any miscommunication because of the middleman. And you know what? The manager I fired eventually, they started approaching my client, and I actually got a job with my client.
Okay.
Like that was like,
I think that shows it was a good decision to kind of distance yourself.
One day, I was just having a Zoom call with them, but they're not based in Japan. Also, I thought it was a good idea to have them like native English speaker or somebody who is based in the United States.
Because you're doing a lot of international work,
But yeah, I was just in Zoom going, oh, Kao, I have a good news. I just started working at this client of mine. Like, what?
Interesting.
And because of that time difference, it was in the morning. So I had to sleep in and actually wake up and like, okay, that actually happened. Like, that was not a dream. I was speechless. Like, what that? Like, so many conflict of interests. And eventually, that person didn't tell me right away, but they got fired by the client.
Too.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and I didn't know about it. Well, initially, they told me like, oh, it's just differences. And then like, oh, I decided to leave or it didn't work out. So I'm no longer working there. But I still work with the client. And later on I found out, oh yeah, we had to fire him. Like, wait, so it's firing. So it's not like, he made it, that person actually made it sound like it was a mutual thing. So, okay, wow. Yeah.
You mentioned that you kind of hired a manager in the first place because you were not sure if, as a woman, you would be able to kind of get your point across and if people would take you seriously.
Right.
Did you also kind of have to deal
also like
with
being a foreigner for my client.
Oh, okay. So like the image of the foreigner.
Yeah.
Was there also, especially in Japan, a sort of like stigma because of having worked in JAV before that people were like, oh, she's a former actress. I don't know if I want to work with her. Or was this actually
yeah, I don't think it has nothing to JV. It's more about just a young woman working by herself.
Not being taken seriously.
Yeah.
Has this changed since? Now that you kind of have worked on these big collaborations and have appeared and have made a name for yourself?
Now that they know, like I actually do get involved and I do deck work, but I don't just do deck work. I actually do stay on camera too. And it actually works that you are planning and you're going to be on the camera, like taking control on camera too. So it actually works very well.
So producer, presenter in a way.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they appreciate more. So yeah, I think you just have to prove yourself.
So work your way through this big world of content creation, approach companies with Kikakusho. That was kind of one of the first steps to get through. Once a company is interested in your idea, how long does it actually take for you to kind of make the museum happen? If we go back to the work you're doing for Evo, was this something that took like a few months, a year, or?
Oh, I'm still nervous. It hasn't happened yet, and we were just discussing designs, and it's very exciting. I got some ideas, and I want this like particular theme. I just have to make sure it can happen with some contractual help, and yeah, it's just super exciting. I love doing new things. I like finding something that so untouched by me and that want to challenge myself. I don't want to feel too comfortable anywhere. So to get excited and exhilarated, like too fresh.
One of the things you've also started recently, I think, is streaming on Twitch a while back. Was this also one of those like, oh, this looks interesting. There's this new live streaming. Maybe I can kind of have some fun there and explore.
I was actually scared to do first. I didn't want to. Like live streaming sounded kind of scary because you cannot edit. It's just happening right there. But COVID hit. That was pandemic. And I wanted to go to more events at the time. And then it's, okay, impossible. So you got to do something instead. And I started live streaming. And you know what? Because it's just happening right there. You get to share a moment, like a raw moment with your viewers. That's fantastic. And because you don't have to edit, or it's impossible for you to edit. You don't have to edit.
What happens on camera is exactly what people are seeing.
So, okay, stream done. I don't have to make VOD. VODs are just there. And you don't have to do anything with it. So it's just automatically published. So you don't have to have content that's sitting for months because, I don't have time to edit. I don't have time to put subtitles. I'm pretty sure that could happen sometime with a YouTube production.
Yeah, sometimes that happens. So you started out making content on Instagram and you posted the photos of you doing cosplay and maybe some reels. You attended the events. With all of those, there's a little bit this kind of distance as well with the audience where you're on stage presenting or you post on Instagram and maybe you see the comments later. But when you're on Twitch, it's live. So you get to interact with your audience like in the moment. Was this kind of a new way for you to connect with your fans as well?
Definitely. It's more my own cozy space, but I'm sharing it with people. At first, I didn't believe like they do exist. I thought maybe they're super fan, like making different accounts and like talking to me from a different account. Because like there's no way these many people are listening to me and paying attention to me at the same time. It was hard to believe. So that's why I go to events to actually make sure they do exist. So both actually integrate really well. It's just irreplaceable, but I don't really consider it as job, as work. It's just me taking a break from work.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but it actually works for work too. Like my clients, they can get impressed by the number. Then sometimes I get like promotional offers. Oh, can you do this on Twitch? Or I could get more jobs because I have the platform. So,
because if you're freelance, you have to kind of keep doing things, right? Keep putting yourself out there. You mentioned that you don't want to get too comfortable. You like to try new things. What are some of the things that you kind of would like to try or would like to get into? You've done a lot of cosplay and you're still very active in the scene, also with Evo. You do streaming on Twitch. What are some of the things that you kind of are like, oh, that would be cool to try or to get into?
I have been taking kimono classes, kimono lessons.
Oh,
then
okay.
I'm actually getting a certificate soon.
Wow.
But soon after that, I want to start learning how to do my hair. Because I actually curled my hair today. And I've been trying to practice. I don't know how to weave my hair. Not even mitsuami or futatsami.
Okay.
I can't do that at all.
Me neither.
Really? Oh, you have such nice hair.
Yeah, it's very long, probably long enough to do all of these. But
how do you make the bun? That looks so nice.
It's, I don't know, just like wrap it and turn it and tie it up. Yeah. It doesn't take very long,
really?
But I'm not able to do anything else with my hair.
Wow,
besides
I'm so
the
impressed.
Bun. Yeah.
I never know. Yeah, I don't know how to do my hair, but I want to be able to take care of myself, right? Sometimes you get asked, oh, would you like a makeup artist? I'm like, oh, I can do makeup, but oh, I don't know how to do my hair. That I used to say, but I really want to be more, high functioning or multi-functioning person that I get to like offer so many different things.
Where did the interest for learning the proper way of kimono come from?
That's definitely from being Japanese, but going to like international scenes that you acknowledge like, oh, I am Japanese. Right?
Also, when you perform overseas and present overseas, there's this association, you're Japanese, or maybe if you wear kimono, it's even more visible.
Or it's just like you get to appreciate being Japanese. Not like in a snobbish or, yeah. It's not a patriotism. Yeah, no, it's not even like a patriotism. It's, not even narcissism at all. It's just, oh, wow, like Japan can be special. Like you just take everything for granted, born and raised in Japan. It's just there. Like everything is there for you. And you didn't know, oh, wow, like people say when you're doing like IRL stream, for example, and just showing the street in Japan, and your viewer is going to say, oh, it's so clean in Japan. Yeah. Like, do you think that it's clean? Like, you don't know. It's just, you look at it every day and you don't particularly think it's clean. You don't find that way. But you just notice so many new qualities through other people's eyes. And you get to just grow more appreciation towards your own country, culture.
And the kimono is something that is popular in tourist areas or for traditional events, but otherwise also kind of getting lost a little bit. Yes. What was it like to kind of relearn and rediscover this for you?
Yeah, so I'm wearing kimono, but I didn't know how to wear it. And if I go to an international event, I want to wear it, but no one can dress me there. So I have to learn.
Interesting.
And I started buying some kimonos. Some can be uber expensive.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It must be hard for the business too.
You mentioned getting a certificate. How long does it take, this kind of learning process for you to kind of...
It's been almost 2 years.
Wow.
Probably. Just little by little. I didn't have time to take too many classes. So it has been slow. I am getting this like wooden, it's nice looking wooden board that says my name that I can actually put it as kanban, like a huge sign that if I wanted to, like at the entrance of my apartment, then start my own kimono school.
Wow.
Not planning to.
So you can really like all the way to you could be a teacher after. Interesting. So we might see you more and more wearing your kimonos overseas.
It definitely makes you feel special. Kind of like cosplay. It takes so much effort and time, right? You don't want to do that every day. Like you don't have time or energy to do that every day. But once you are in it, it's just so special. You get complimented and you feel proud. Yeah, it just looks so beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
you want to show off.
I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Thank you.
You mentioned earlier in our conversation as well that you're writing a second book. Is this something you want to talk about already, or is this something you want to kind of keep a little bit until you've made more progress in it?
I just hope, well, they have to make progress. I've written my part.
Oh,
so
okay.
The publisher, editor, they have to. So I have to pinch them. I guess maybe right after tax season in Japan, I'll pinch them in emails. It's about English. I get asked another question, especially from Japanese people. How did you study English? How did you learn English? And yeah, of course, we learn basic alphabets and basic grammar and syntax at school. But to be fluent, unless you have particular circumstance, you really need to practice. You really need to put a lot of effort. You have to dedicate. So they want to know how. And you cannot just put it in one sentence.
No.
It's impossible, right? So, okay, I have to write a book about it.
You said also earlier that when you were working for Tokyo Sports, one of the reasons I kind of put you there was you spoke English, even though there were no foreign players at the time. So you did already back then kind of have a great level. What were some of the early things that you did to get to the level of English you have now?
I like TV shows. And sometimes I even just took audio from my favorite episode that I can just easily just remember the visuals in my head. So I don't really need to watch it, but I get to listen to them. And in my iPod at the time, when I was going to sleep, I just keep listening to it, or even when I'm walking the street. And that actually helped because you learn a natural flow of conversation, especially shows like Friends. They don't always talk about something meaningless romance. Sometimes they talk about life stuff.
Yeah.
And they have a great rhythm of conversation. And you learn, that's how you make jokes in English, like from Chandler. He can be very cynical. And you don't have the same sense of humor in Japan. Right? We're never cynical. It can be maltranslated in a way. So you actually get to learn a natural conversation, but also, it's not as broken as actual conversations on the street.
So watching a lot of TV shows, listening to the audio a little bit, and now writing a book about kind of your experience going through this, where I imagine you're going to not necessarily talk about how it's done in schools, because obviously writing a book about it means you don't necessarily agree so much with some of the ways that are done in school.
Right.
Sometimes on a train here in the morning or in the evening, I see someone next to me that has a book with this red kind of see-through thing where they kind of go vocabulary by vocabulary. Yeah. Is this still the method? Is this something that kind of was frustrating for you, that you wanted to learn English, but you kind of had to just repeat the words?
Well, if other people English was bad in Japan, then I could get benefited more from their bad from their bad skills. So I wouldn't mind if other Japanese people cannot speak Japanese. But having said that, for the key to get interested in English, I know we all know that you need English, to survive this world. Maybe just in Japan, it's no problemo, but you definitely need English. You just cannot bring yourself to study and work hard for it, which I totally understand. I hated studying English back in middle school because in elementary school, you just memorize stuff.
Yeah.
You forgot your, at school, I sometimes forgot my notebook, and my teacher told me, okay, so repeat after me. I forgot my notebook. And I just have to memorize it and repeat, I forgot my notebook. And I don't even know what that means. I could tell they were saying notebook, but other part, what forget means, you never know. You just repeat, dog, inu, dog, neko, cat. And you just see the picture and say cat and dog and those either vocabulary. You don't really have to make a sentence in a structural way. And then suddenly in middle school, you have to learn this is the present tense, this is the past tense, and all those tense, you never even heard of that word in Japanese. And have to understand what's going on, and structure is really convoluted puzzle. And such a dichotomy. You can't just have fun anymore.
And that's a big thing to break up in your book as well. Like, how do you kind of translate this? I imagine people have to wait a little bit to see when the book is released. What was important for you in writing this book, besides answering people's kind of questions of learning English?
You definitely make it fun and more informative. Like, there are some words I learned once I became a streamer because some of the internet lingo I was not familiar with.
Yeah.
And there are new ones coming out every year.
The trends are changing, yeah.
Yes, definitely. So to explain that, I guess that could be interesting for some viewers, but also because of my character in the image, I saw it might be fun to refer to some kind of not like itchy topic in a way, like to explain the difference of sudden, let's say present tense and what's that? 現在進行形, present perfect tense.
Something like that.
Yeah. Well, let's say, like, what's the difference between I'm going to school and I go to school? Right? Like, I go to school is like I go to school every day. That's more perpetual thing. That's more your custom. And I'm going to school is something happening right now. It's hard to differentiate sometimes, depending on the sentence. So I bring up, let's say if a guy said, I use a condom, then that means like he used condoms regularly, like everyday basis or every time basis. And then depending on how often they use. If he's saying like, I'm using condom, he might not be trustable. He might be just using this time. And not because like to be nice to you, but maybe, I don't know, like, for whatever reasons, like he might be afraid of catching something from you. So that's like a difference. Like that topic to get you interested in, like, for conversations and for comparisons of some English sentences, because this is a pen, whoever says that, right? You never have to say this is a pen because it's so obvious.
Yeah.
You're just learning a sentence that you never have to use. And just, what are you getting from it?
Making learning English fun and interesting and making people smile, because they probably won't expect all the examples you put in the book.
Yeah.
So this is going to be in Japanese for a Japanese audience, I imagine.
Definitely.
Second book already, so you definitely reached your goals of becoming an author, but maybe there will be more books in the future, who knows, and translated into more languages. Is this something you are kind of actively working on, trying to get your books translated more? You said potentially the first one might be in Vietnamese too. Would you like it to be also shared with more countries, or is it not necessarily something you have on your mind?
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to have more books, not just in different languages, so that I get to talk about different topics. I don't want to be just known for JV, for example. I want to do so many different things. Like, you only live once.
Yeah.
So your life is a sum total of different experiences, I believe.
Kaho, we talked about so many different topics today.
Yeah.
Is there one topic that was dear to you that you would have liked to bring up that maybe I didn't ask you about?
Oh. Is there anything like you always ask your guests on this show?
That question. I always like to ask it at the end, because it's usually maybe something that I forgot, or something that you kind of came to the show for, and like, I'd love to talk about this today, and maybe I don't know about it, or maybe I forget about it. But that question is kind of usually the one that I ask to everyone at the end.
And do they often mention their career, or it's just so many different topics?
Sometimes there's one thing that I really wanted to bring something up, and we go back to that topic. And sometimes there's nothing as well. So it really depends. And if you have nothing, that's totally fine. But maybe there was you mentioned you want to kind of not be known just as a JV actress. So you're working on all these other exciting projects. How would you like people to remember you?
Oh, they can find me from anywhere, honestly. Well, one thing it just came to me. I guess because of that image from the past, some people, especially if they find me from there, if just remember me from there, they probably expect me to be like a nymphomaniac, or just, she might be into boys. Or initially, when I started like appearing on some like YouTube videos, and especially if the YouTuber is a boy, guy, then there was some comment like, they might be like getting it, or then actually, I haven't been on a date or I haven't even kissed anybody since 2019, September.
That's
September
very
9th.
specific.
Actually, like September 9th, 2019. So like 3/9. That's why I remember. Initially, I thought it was fun to just stop it, and that could be another topic to write about. I thought it could be interesting. Somebody who was doing it professionally, like having a lot of it, to like nothing. That could be an interesting topic to write about. And then COVID hit. Like, okay, so nobody's getting it. Like, it's not safe anymore. So let's just continue doing that. Then, okay, you know what? I'm not interested, right? So I'm actually loving it. The fact that I'm no longer involved in that kind of, well, I shouldn't say shit, but let's go in.
It is what it is.
Yeah, and sometimes I get frustrated when people immediately think, oh, you're single. Like, oh, it's okay. You can find somebody. Like, as if like I want somebody in my life.
Is that then the stigma of like, oh, you need to get married by this age or kind of have a child at this age that is more common in Japan still?
I don't know if it's a Japanese thing. I get that from like almost everybody. I think a lot of people believe like you should find somebody or everyone has the one. Kind of, I think that's a concept that's shared, and that's wonderful, right? If I were the politician in any countries, I definitely want to encourage or even like brainwash my citizens to believe that having a family food is good, and that so that family food, not just a couple food, but also family, so that next generation is going to be there. So I definitely want to encourage that. So I'm glad like I'm not the norm, right? And the fact that I'm not interested in getting married or having kids, I don't think it should be the norm, right, for the society. But I get frustrated that people don't think that there's a choice like that, or some people prefer that.
So for everyone out there that is listening to this and seeing a video of you somewhere on YouTube with another content creator and such, no, you're not dating them. You're just kind of having fun making a video and kind of exploring new experiences.
And I really enjoy that, having myself all to myself, actually. People say that, oh, especially if you're doing like a gravure or anything that remotely sexual, you should take care of you should cherish your body and don't share with everybody. Like, I'm enjoying it. Well, I'm sharing my photos, like cosplay photos, and even sometimes like looking sexy cosplay photos, but I get to keep my body. Like, I'm the only one who can touch my body. That kind of turns me on, honestly.
You kind of reclaim yourself, reclaim your body, reclaim your narrative, reclaim your story, and you decide how you write it now. Not by an agency, not by a manager, not by another company, but it's all yours.
Yeah, my get to grow more self-love to myself. I hope I'm gonna, as a concept, I guess naturally you fall in and out of love with yourself. That has happened to me before. But I want to be able to continue loving myself. And I have to cherish myself like in any way. I hope I get to grow more love toward myself. And
I think this is a beautiful message, not only for you, but for everyone listening, that it's important to love yourself and to kind of take care of yourself as well, your body and your life. Kaho, thank you so much.
Thank you
for coming and being so open and kind of sharing your stories, your experiences, and also the exciting projects you're working on. So I hope that some of our listeners will get to experience your work with Evo at events coming this year, and maybe your upcoming book and more projects that we'll see. Thank you for making time to see us.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for listening and watching. This was Unpacking Japan, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for sticking with us all the way till the end. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, consider subscribing to the podcast. It helps us improve the show and bring you more in-depth conversations from Japan. Take care and see you next time.